Today we have computers, printers, tablets, digital cameras, typefaces, digital art brushes and creative software tools which help bring our imagination and design to life. Technology has and will continue to change the way we create, enabling us to experiment and explore an endless dynamic of visual effects and methods to create and communicate more complex concepts, messages, and achieve more sophistication in our design. Today, it is common for a designer to create work predominantly on computer, creating logos, branding, magazine layouts, infographics, 3D models, web design, social media, and motion graphics, to name a few. For the next generation of designers and even existing designers, today it may be natural to wonder about the usefulness and importance of traditional techniques. This video question comes from Dia Hassan, and he asks, does the graphic designer need drawing skills? So as designers, it will help us to think of drawing as serving two functions. One, to carefully construct and complete a piece of artwork. If you want to draw hand lettering, graphic novels, cartoons, character designs, portraiture and more illustration and art related work, you would require a good level of drawing and rendering skill. So for function 1, let's call this drawing to render art. The next function, to think about a design idea and communicate it visually. If you're conceptualizing design ideas, perhaps for logo designs, magazine layouts, storyboards, web layouts or advertisement posters, you will require a certain degree of skill in sketching. And if you are presenting design direction for other creatives to follow, you will require skill in scamping, also referred to as drafting. So for function 2, let's call this drawing to design. So two functions there, drawing to render art and drawing to design. As a designer, it will help to think about drawing in that regard, because as a designer, you should only really be concerned with drawing to design. What's the difference, you may be wondering? Well, we will be covering that shortly. In my experience, a designer should have good skill at drawing to design, but not necessarily a good skill at drawing to render art. In the design industry, today most designers will not be required to create finished pieces of artwork through drawing, but will always be required to come up with creative ideas and concepts for design, and will often express them through sketches and scamps. Now, in a professional environment, like a design agency, any design work with heavy illustrative execution would normally be tasked to an illustrator who specialises in drawing to render art. If you're learning to become a designer, I would say focus on drawing to design. If you can bring your thoughts and ideas from your mind and project them onto paper, you can practice design. To sketch and think visually is the essence of design. This is one of the most important and creative parts of the design process. In my experience, sparks happen on the page. During the sketching process, ideas are invented, ideas are tested, ideas are crafted, discovered, and start to shape a direction, concept, or possible design solution. You should only use the computer when you have an idea on the page. So the first type of drawing a designer should be well practiced at is sketching. To be able to sketch, we'll be able to communicate your ideas visually. Sketching is a great method to render your imagination fast and bring your initial ideas out of your mind, to rule out anything you feel may or may not work, and to progress and evolve ideas. So let's take a look at some examples. To follow along and take a closer look at the examples I'm about to show, I suggest you download the Design to Draw PDF I have created for this video. Link is in the description. So with the PDF open, first we have some rough sketches for some page layout ideas for a brochure looking at possible image and typesetting compositions. Next we have some sketches for a logo type design exploring various routes and ideas. Next we have another example for a logo mark design based on the DNA structure, looking at how it may move, grow and change to create multiple logo permutations to create a logo system. Next, another logo type design example exploring various routes and ideas. And again, design sketches for a logo mark exploring a variation of what appear to be map tag shapes. Lastly, we have sketches for a leaflet plan. Here we are looking at how the design will unfold with possible layout options. So what we see in each example are rough ideas. Here a designer will be thinking fast and trying to discover and experiment with possible design solutions before working up and developing ideas on the computer. Each example may be rough, but here you can clearly see what the designer is thinking. This is really the level at which you will be required to sketch. To see some more examples of design sketches, simply type graphic design sketches and logo design sketches into Google Images. There you can see lots more examples to get a better understanding on sketching for design. To see more examples, you can also find some links in the description. So how do you get good at sketching? Well, if you don't feel confident sketching, I would encourage you to practice and harness your technique. If you can nurture your skill in sketching, it's really going to help with your design process. Get a sketch pad or layout pad, take it everywhere you go and sketch your thoughts and design ideas. Practice drawing shapes, grids, layouts and typography. Soon you will be proficient in general shape and form sketching, which will help you sketch your rough designs. Sketching is something you can be practicing all the time. I have been practicing graphic design now for over 10 years, and I sketch as much as I can. To sketch and develop my ideas, I typically use a graphic pencil, range of markers, thin, medium and thick, tip X and a range of coloured markers. Now depending on what type of ideas I'm sketching, be it for layout, logos or patterns, I will use either a clear white graphic layout pad or a grid pad. This simple equipment works really well for me. It is relatively cheap and easy to replace. Once I feel an idea is working on paper as a possible design solution, only then will I take it onto the computer. If you are interested to learn more about the equipment I use, you can find a list in the PDF with links to find out more online. Now, there are many benefits why you should sketch your ideas before taking them onto the computer. Drawing to render a finished idea or create it on computer may take hours, whereas a quick sketch can take you minutes. When working in teams, sketches can become a discussion point. When you have something visual and tangible in front of you, it makes it easier to talk about that idea with others, such as clients, senior designers, or creative directors. To quote Paul Arden, "Rough layouts sell the idea better than polished ones." Every time I'm at a meeting, I always sketch initial rough thoughts out and show clients or other designers. This helps engage them and see their reactions and get feedback. Many times, through this collaborative process, creative solutions have been discovered. As a designer myself that predominantly works on computer, I find sketching the most organic and fluid part of my thinking. When I design for anything, before I jump onto the computer, I usually start on paper, thinking visually, sketching out my ideas and exploring how they may or may not work. Ideas seem to flow much better sketched on paper than trying to build them from scratch on computer. So the next type of drawing a designer should be well practiced at is scamping. In the design industry, scamping has quite a practical role. If I want to present initial design ideas at a meeting in a more clear fashion, I will create what is called a SCAMP drawing, also referred to as a draft. SCAMPs are used in the industry to communicate specific design direction. A SCAMP can be a simple doodle or a more developed crafted drawing. Because these drawings are used to give clear design direction, they are typically more refined than the rough sketches. These are often clear line drawings and can include colour with markers. Depending on how much you want to communicate and to what detail, you can draw your SCAMPs accordingly. These are also used to brief and give visual reference to other creative professionals, such as web developers, 3D modelers, illustrators, photographers, animators or art workers. So let's take a look at some examples. With the PDF open, first we have a SCAMP suggesting the orientation and structure of a leaflet. Here we can see the direction for photography and composition. Next is another leaflet example. And on the next page, a closer look at the previous open spread. Here we can see more clear direction for layout of type and image. Next is another SCAMP example suggesting the layout of a leaflet cover and page layouts. Next is a SCAMP giving direction for a photo composition for an advert, and to the right is the photo result taken from the SCAMP design. Next is a SCAMP for a poster design suggesting product and design composition and type layout. Next is a storyboard SCAMP for a short advert. And next is another SCAMP example for a leaflet layout design, which continues onto the next page. Finally, we have a series of SCAMPs suggesting design direction for a business card, a letterhead, and brochure page layouts. So here we have a range of SCAMPs showcasing different styles, techniques, and approaches. What they will all do is express clear, specific design direction. Compared to the rough sketches, we can see more detail to communicate more direction here. To see more examples of scamps, simply type design scamps and advertising scamps into Google Images. Here you can see lots more examples of how scamps are drawn and used in the industry. To see more examples, you can also find some links in the description. So how do you get good at drawing scamps? Now, unlike sketching, you will require more skill and technique here. When it comes to drawing scamps, you will want to take a little more time and focus on clarity. A technique I use is draw and trace. First, draw a design on layout paper using a pencil. This can be really rough like a sketch. Then draw over your pencil sketch with a fine marker with clear lines to simplify your initial sketch. Once complete, rub the pencil away and highlight any focal points of your design with a bold marker to suggest hierarchy. Remove any mistakes or errors with Tipp-Ex. If the result is still a little rough, trace over the drawing until the end result is clear and precise. With my line drawing, I can then fill in with colour using markers or scan my line drawing onto the computer, clean up and add colour using brushes in Photoshop. This technique works well for me, but does take a little practice. So skill in drawing for design will really benefit you in the industry. At university or college, you will always be encouraged to think about your design as sketches before jumping onto the computer to make the final result. Clients love to see an idea come to life, and employers really like to see how you can come up with ideas. So it's great to have examples of this in your portfolio. This shows that you really think about your design. So to conclude, does the graphic designer need drawing skills? Well, to that I would answer, every designer should have skill in sketching and scamping, drawing for design, but not necessarily skill in drawing to render art. So, what are your thoughts? Do you agree with my conclusion? Do you think designers need drawing skills? Or do you think we don't need any? Please share your experiences with drawing and sketching and how your lack of drawing or skill in drawing has helped in your career. And also, what equipment do you use to do your drawing? Be sure to share your thoughts and experiences in the comment section. So, if you have any other questions you would like me to answer regarding design, like in this video, please pop them in the comment section below, or tweet me your questions at TastyTunes. For more details, see the instructions in the description. I look forward to hearing your questions and answering more in future videos. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did and want to see more like this in future, be sure to subscribe and be sure to hit that bell button to be notified of future videos. Well, thanks for watching guys, and I'll see you in the next video.